Voila! In a previous video, you've probably seen me putting new tyres, getting new tyres on here, which I'm very pleased with. What I didn't mention though, is when I was putting the tyres back and having a look and a bit of a fiddle, something I should have checked before, but hadn't, is swing arm bearings, or the swing arm bushes. And I noticed, and you might be able to see this, now, in 40 years, 50 years of having bikes, I've never once had play in the swing arm of a bike that I've had to do anything about. This is my first experience of it. And looking up about CB750s, it does appear that these do wear quite quickly on these. The Honda official parts have bushes with seals, with washers, but the accepted modification that sort of most people recommend is you actually dispense with them and you put in some brass or bronze bushes that are like a top hat, so that they go in the ends and they've got the spaces as well. Which luckily I've managed to buy a pair. Now, I've never done swing arm bushes before in my life, so this is a new adventure for me. I think it's just a case of take the wheel out, undo the shocks, undo the swing arm bolt, take it out and walk away with it. Let's see how we go on. Right, first things first, let's have the wheel out. I'll just put it back in. With the wheel out the way, all I need to do now is undo the shocks at the bottom and undo the actual bolt that goes through the frame for the swing arm. I'm going to take that out first because that's going to be the hardest job, and then I'll just slip the shocks off afterwards. Now for a bit of persuasion. Actually took a lot longer than I expected that. That was easy enough. As usual, it's a variety of fasteners that has been used by the previous owner. I'll sort that out hopefully before I put it back together. thing is, I noticed that the actual washers that should be on the outside aren't there, or spacers, so that's part of the play. But also I noticed that these are so loose I can push them with my fingers, and there was me thinking I'm going to have to get all medieval on them. Right, well, these are, you know, pretty loose already. I'm surprised because I thought they were supposed to be an interference fit. That isn't actually what I expected. I actually expected bushes with a central spacer, and it looks like this is something that goes all the way through anyway, and you can see the lines on it for grease, which I'm perhaps going to have a look at the workshop manual again, but that's not what I thought I was seeing. Now I think there's perhaps a sleeve in there and that is the bush. But I'm not 100% sure yet. In fact, no, I am 100% sure because there's a felt washer. So I'm actually going to have to knock out these bushes from the outside. I wonder how easy they'll come out. Maybe this is where the medieval bit comes in, because there's bushings and they're a lot thinner than I expected. So let's see if I can drive one out. You need a punch that will actually catch on it. Well, that doesn't seem to have moved anything. Right, this looks a bit muckier and harder than I thought or expected, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a quick clean up in the parts washer, so I'm not at least fighting being covered with grease all the time. Right, it's starting to come out. I'm annoyed with hitting my thumb now, so I don't think this will work, but let's give it a go. No, probably not the best idea then. Voila! Second one seems a bit easier. Maybe I've heated it more. Now, in my opinion, there's no argument that the bush, a belt seal and a top cap, top hat type washer to protect it is probably a belt-in design by Honda. However, to put in these and to get the right spacing for this and to get the top cap on is going to be, you know, quite a work of art. And it seems like everybody on all the forums and everything recommends that you use these bronze bushings that are produced by a couple of different manufacturers. I'll put a link to the ones that I bought. These don't have the felt sealing, but as long as you grease your Swingarm bearings on a reasonably regular basis, they'll wear out at no different a time than the original Honda ones. And reputation is that the Honda ones don't last that long anyway. I've given the inside of this a good clean now, and I've popped the bushings into the freezer. I've always found if you put in something in, if you can heat the outside and freeze the middle bit, it goes in a lot easier. Bit of warmth to this, go and get the bushings, and then I should be able to drive them in fairly easy. They went in quite easily. I always try and use a bearing punch because it stops you making any other problems or damage that you might do to the thing you're banging in. Cool, hot, slid in quite nice. To make sure the rear swing arm bearings are going to live for a long while, you need to make sure you're greasing them. So Honda decided that you'd have a grease nipple on the earlier spindle On later one, it actually has a grease nipple on the housing on the actual swing arm. These are supposed to be more effective. They're a strange nipple in that the grease gun doesn't clamp onto them. They're 6mm, like a little dome thing. Now what I found was, if I use a straight adapter, you can push it on, make it seal, and the grease will go through. So this is how I put the new nipples in. The old ones just pull out with a little bit of persuasion from vice grips or whatever, and how to fill them with grease the first time round. So this might help somebody. that's the swing arm bearings done. New grease nipples, greased, new bushings, absolutely brilliant. Put the wheel on, it's always a bit of a fiddle. Whenever you do anything with grease involved, you always end up with it everywhere. It's like some kind of disease that just spreads. It's really annoying. So what I'm going to do now is get a cloth with some brake cleaner. I'm going to go over everything that I think I've touched, clean all my tools, put them away so that they're nice and ready for next time. Right, well, I actually think that once I've put the tank on, which I've already got ready and connected it up to these filters, this bike should actually be ready to have a road test. So I'm getting quite excited about that. Typically, it started raining. Anyway, if you want to see the road test and look at the other adventures I've had with this bike so far, why not subscribe? If you enjoy what we do, give us a thumbs up. But no matter what, thanks for watching. We've enjoyed ourselves, I think.